Okay. Good evening, guys. Can you all let me know if you all can hear me and see a screen? Yes. Can see a screen? Yes. Right. Okay. Perfect. So, let me give you all a small introduction for those who are joining newly. Okay. So, today what we are doing, guys, is we are doing session number 2 of unit number 4. Okay. Now, this is my regular theory class for the 2024 batch. The first 2 classes I have opened it for free so that anyone can come and get an idea. Last week on Wednesday we started off unit number 4, and for those who missed it, I sent the recording of it uploaded on YouTube. So I'm guessing you all would have taken some time to watch that as well in case you missed. So today what we are going to do is the continuation from last class. Now, is there anyone who was not there last class and didn't even watch the recording? Is there anyone like that? You were not able to make it last week also. You didn't find time to watch the recording as well. Anyone like that? Okay, there is. Right. Okay. So there are around 3-4 people. Okay. So that means I'm guessing everyone else, you all were either there last class, so you watched the recording. Okay. So for those who were not there last class, guys, this is a continuation coming from last class. So what I will do is I will summarize this a little, but you might find it a little difficult if you were not there. Okay. So that's okay because we have the recording. You can always go back and you can watch the recording. So it was there in the group, right? Whichever group that you got the link from, that recording is there. Or at least if you can't find that recording, go to my YouTube channel, right? My YouTube channel is iTutor SL, the one in the logo here. Okay, type iTutor SL on the YouTube channel. Go to the latest videos, right? Last week only I uploaded it. You should be able to find it. Okay, so now, right, since we have a little bit time today, I want to give you all a small tip, okay, which can go a long way, right? Now, okay, I'll just to get a small feedback, okay? Most of you all were there last class, okay? And most of you all were learning unit number 4, that area, for the very first time. And most of you all got the MCQs correct as well. Yes. Can you tell me, right, last class, by the end of the session, if you are to rate it out of 1 to 10, how well did you understand the part out of 1 to 10? Last class, the first time you learned, right? We learned short run, long run. We learned this, right? We learned some stages, we learned some curves. Remember MP, AP? Yeah. If you are to rate it out of 1 to 10, how well did you understand that part? Right. Okay. So most of you all are in the 8 or above. Oh, there were some people 7 also, right? Now, if I ask you that same question, okay, how well do you remember those now? Do you think your answer is going to be the same? If I ask you now 1 week later, how well do you remember that area what we did last class? Because last class, I also know you understood because I remembered most of you all gave me the correct answers for most of the A-level past paper MCQs we did. But if I ask you today, how many of you all remember that? It would have gone down. Some of you all would have gone up. Now that is the difference, right? That plays a big difference. So I'm going to give you a very small tip, okay, that is going to help you a lot. Okay, now I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Okay, see, this will definitely apply to you as well. Okay, now I was someone who was among the top 50 in the island when we did A-levels in 2017. Then you must be wondering, this fellow would have studied, day and night, right? He is someone who, was only reading the book. No, right? I had all the fun around. I had a girlfriend also, right? We also cut classes. We were part of sports. We were part of clubs, right? We did everything. I was a prefect as well at St. Thomas's. So we did everything, right? With the big match too, all the Royal Domians too, everything. It's full exciting, right? But we still got things done. Okay. So the secret is this, guys. It's a very small thing. The secret to, doing well in A-levels is not about studying hours and hours. Yes, towards the end, you have to study, correct, right? The best secret that I always tell you all is to stay on track. Stay on track. What does that mean? That means, right, few things that I want you to do. Number one is when you attend a class or even school, doesn't have to be economics, any subject. When you attend the class, make sure during that 2 hours or in school during that 40 minutes period, you give your fullest attention when the teacher teaches. Don't do anything else, right? Now, I know some of you all right now also, you all are on your phone, scrolling WhatsApp, looking at WhatsApp statuses, scrolling Instagram, right? Looking at those statuses, right? Sharing some memes, right? Some of you all are texting here on the Zoom chat with your friend, right? So make sure that doesn't happen. Make sure when the teacher teaches you, doesn't have to be me, right? Any teacher, any subject, when the teacher teaches you, try your level best to put it into your head the first time. Because whenever a teacher teaches something for the first time, they go very slowly. Now, you saw last week, right? Last week when I taught you all unit number 4, I went very slow because I know none of you all know the unit. Now, for a revision class, you will not go in that pace. Revision class, we will do papers. We will have a complete different type of a setup. So, when the teacher teaches you, can be school, can be class, the first time the teacher teaches you guys, give your fullest attention, keep your phone away, have that discipline, right? And listen. So that is number one. So why does that help? Because if you listen and put it into your head, you don't have to waste time studying it later. Now, sometimes, have you all realized you miss school or something, right? School also you miss, class also you miss. You try and go and read that note. When you read the note, right, around let's say 2 or 3 pages, but none of it goes into your head because you don't remember anything, right? You're trying to read a note, you're reading it around 2-3 times, right? But none of it is going. But if you have listened well in class, then if you go and read that note, within 5-10 minutes, everything goes into your head. So that's the difference, guys. Now, some people come and say, I studied 3 hours. But some people, they would have listened well in class and gone and studied for, let's say, only 15 minutes. Both of them are at the same level, guys. That's how you save time. So while in class, giving your fullest attention, and then later, spend around 15 minutes to study that, you will remember perfectly and you can do it faster. Because otherwise, now during class, if you're looking up and waiting, what most of you all do, sometimes you all have to go and watch that recording again. Another 2 hours wasted. Some of you all are trying to read the note now and trying to figure it out. Still much is not going into your head. You waste another 2 hours there. Rather than that, you listen during class in the 2 hours, ask questions if you have to, okay? And then spend around 15 minutes to go through. That's tip number one, right? When the teacher teaches, get it into your head. Don't talk to your friend. Don't do everything else. After class, have all the fun you want, guys. Go out with your friends, be a part of your sports, prefect, right? Your clubs and societies, do all of that. But the first time, you put it into your head. That's rule number one. The second thing that you need to do, remember I told you, is to keep on track, right? To stay on track, first thing is pay very high attention. Number two is every time before you come to the next class, okay, go through what you did last week and come. You don't have to spend 1 hour, spend 15 minutes. Now, if our class is at 7 o'clock, you sit on your table at 6:45. So that's 15 minutes, right? Small difference. Yeah. Go through what we did last class because every subject, not just econ here, every subject, guys, is always, unless you are starting a new unit, it's always connected to last week's one. Now, for those who didn't know last week, today you all are going to find it a little difficult, right? But for those who know last week, for those who took around 15 minutes to go through and come, you all will find it very easy. So that has to be made a practice for any class, guys. Now, if you all are going for a physical class, now physical classes, guys, does your teacher come on time? If the class is at 3 o'clock, does it start sharp at 3 o'clock? Nah, right? I don't think it ever works, no? Physical classes, I've also gone. Most of the time, it's always late, right? Otherwise, at least you spend around 1 hour in the bus. So something like that. So before you go to the class, or when you go to the class, then, let's say before the class starts, take around 10 to 15 minutes to turn the pages. What you did last week, just read. You don't have to memorize. Just read. So you remember, this is what we did. Oh, in the bus while you're going to the physical class, right? Take some photos of your tute and go. Now, in the bus, sometimes, we are a little shy to open the tute and do all of that, right? So, wait. Okay. Sorry, guys. My mother dropped into the room. Right. So, where was I? Right. What I was saying is tip number one, pay attention. Your second tip is to take 15 minutes to go through what you did last class. If it's an online class, 15 minutes before, sit on your table and do that. If it's a physical class, maybe on your way, right? You're traveling. And now, while we are traveling, we are a little shy, in the bus and all, put that in the lads, people will see, people will think, oh, this fellow is a bloody nerd, right? He's studying in the bus also, So, what you can do is, you all have your phone, right? Take a few photos. There must be around 2-3 pages of the tute that was done, no? So take a few photos of around those 3 pages, and while you're going in the bus, just read those 3 pages. And then, text on WhatsApp, scroll your Instagram and all in the bus as well. So small things like that go a long, long way, guys. Some of you all will think, you yourself 15 minutes, no, what difference does it make? It's gonna make a big difference, because otherwise what's gonna happen is you just come for class, you can't remember a thing. When the unit is over, you're also lost. You move to the next unit, right? So it goes on and on and on, and later you realize now there is so much of things you don't know anything, right? So you study a small area and you finish it off. That has to be the target. So once we will start our revision class as well in August. Most likely August, I'm trying to give the entire month for free. That's the plan that I have. And I'll be printing and sending you all tutes as well. So in the revision class, I'll give you all a study plan. Every week we'll do a paper. There will be recordings that you have to sometimes watch and come, right? So it's planned in a nice way, completely different from what I did for the previous batches. So that I'll let you all know when we do that. But I don't have to give you a plan, right? So without me giving you a plan, you try to work on something, right? Get that done. And if you can regularly, systematically do that, guys, I'll tell you, you can easily be among the top 100 in the island. Okay. Now, I'm telling you, I did not do any miracle, right? I was among the top 50 in the island. I didn't study hours and hours every day. I just followed those 2 things that I asked you to do everything, guys. Be a part of your sports, do your clubs, right? Your societies. If you're a prefect, nice, enjoy that life, because you're not going to get that life back, right? So this last few years in school is the best few years that you can find. So make full use of it, but don't neglect this. So it's always a balance that you need to strike. So with that in mind, I'm hoping that this 2 hours today, you all will pay very high attention, and we'll then see how the quiz goes. We have a quiz today. No? At the end of the class, we have a quiz. Today, I thought of doing it a little differently. Shall we do the quiz in team mode? I also haven't played it in team mode before. Shall we try it out? So I don't know how the teams work. I think randomly you all get allocated into teams. I can select a number of teams. So let's say 4 teams or 5 teams. When you log in, you randomly go into a team. So how it works is you all will answer and your team's average marks. Now let's say, for example, in team A, there were 5 people. One person got 900 points, one person got 500, one person got 300. So likewise, they get the average mark and that will be the score. That's how it will work. So it will be a little bit more interesting. I will also not try it. We'll try it and see because we have a lot of people. Right? Last time quiz was an individual one. We'll try a team one and see. But individually, all of you all can answer. Okay. And then later I can see the individual marks as well. How you all did. Right. Any questions before we start? Anything that you all want to know? Theory class. Right. Okay. So yes, this is the theory class. So for those who asked me, how do you join the theory class? Guys, theory class has a monthly fee, right? It has a monthly fee of 2,500. It happens like this on Zoom from 7 to 9 p.m. on Wednesday. And all the classes are recorded and given on our website as well. So even if you miss the live class, you can always go and watch. And the best thing is not that. The best thing is the recordings will be there until A-levels. So even 1 year later, you can always come back and watch even today's recording. Okay. And then we will print and courier the tute to your doorstep as well. So you'll have a printed tute. The usually we have term exams also every 3 months kind of. You'll have a printed tute. Class will happen just the way that it is going on right now. And all the classes will be recorded and given as well. So you can watch any amount of time. So that is unit number 4. And unit number 4, like I said last week, is not connected to any of the units. So unit 1, 2, 3, it's not connected. So any of you all guys, if you all need to catch up on unit number 1, 2, and 3, you can always purchase the recording and the tute of that unit and you can get it. We don't give it for free, guys, because then it's unfair. It's unfair for those who actually paid the class fees and came, because I know some students really hard, it's not easy that you still pay the class fees and come. Then now, if someone joins newly and if I give them all the recordings of the other units and all the tute, it's not fair at all. Okay. So therefore, what we do is we give it at a very reasonable rate. If you want to catch up on any previous unit, you can always purchase the recording and the tute and you can get that covered. So somehow there is a way to cover everything. Even if you are starting to study today, there is a way to cover everything up. Okay, right. That's about the theory class. Hoping there are no other questions. Okay, so we'll then get into our units. Let's see how many of you all remember now. No, what did we do? Right. So last class we started unit number 4. Okay, I'll take 5 minutes to give you all a small summary. Well, now this is not me teaching the first time. I'll just give you all a summary. So in unit number 4, I told you this unit is broken down into 3 sections. The first section is production, second is cost, and the third is market structures. So the first 2 classes, that is last class and this class, focuses on what? Focuses on production, the first area of this unit. Okay, today I will be finishing production. So if you talk about this whole production thing, we started off learning what is a production firm. So we said a production firm is what? It is an entity that produces goods and services, to satisfy human wants. What is their goal? To maximize profit. Easy. Then we talked about what is production last class. What is production? Production was about converting inputs into outputs. You're converting your land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship into output. Yes, can you tell me in our unit, what did I tell you? What are the factors? Now we have 4 factors of production. From the 4 factors of production, which are the 2 that we consider in this unit? There are 4, right? There's land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. What do we consider in this unit? So in this unit, we only consider labor and capital. We assume there is no land, there is no entrepreneurship, right? Okay, so there is only labor and capital. Then I said, talked about the production function. What is the production function? It's the technical relationship, that. What does that talk about? Look at this. I said Q, that is output, is a function of what? Is a function of labor and capital. Output is what? Output is a function of labor and capital. Give me a second. Right. So then, what did that mean? What is this output is a function of labor and capital mean? That means output depends on labor and capital. Then can you give me the answer again? Right? Yes. From labor and capital, which one is easier to increase? Which one is easier? Is it easier to increase your labor or is it easier to increase your capital? Which one's easier? The easier one to increase is what? The easier one to increase is your labor. You can easily hire people. But if you want to get a new building, get a new machine, that's not easy. It requires time, a lot of money. So remember, depending on that, we divided the production into two stages. We have the long run and the short run. Now, what is this short run? So, the short run, we said, is a time period where what case? What's the key word that you need to write? Short run is a time period where what? What's the key things that you need to write when you're defining short run? Short run is a time period where at least one factor of production is fixed. At least one input is fixed. That is what you say, the short run. So therefore, in the short run, you will have variable inputs also. In the short run, you will have fixed inputs also. So which one is variable, which one is fixed in the short run? What do you all remember? What was fixed, what was variable? Okay, labor was variable. What was the fixed one? Capital was fixed. Why? Because capital is hard to increase, right? You can't hire get a new machine, no building that easily. So capital, we said, is fixed in the short run and labor is variable. Then we talked about the short run production function as well. Yes, can you tell me then what is the long run? Long run was what? Long run is a time period where what? All factors of production are fill in the blank. Long run is a time period where all the factors of production, that is labor and capital, are what? Are variable. So in the long run, you can increase your labor also, you can increase your capital also, hire more people, get more machines, all of that is possible. That is the long run. So there are two time periods, short run and the long run. Yes, if I tell you short run is a time period less than 1 year, long run is a time period more than 1 year. Is that correct? If I say short run is less than 1 year, long run is more than 1 year, that is completely wrong, right? Remember, you don't give a month or a day or a year for that. What do? Short run is a time period where at least one factor is fixed. So there is fixed and variable both. Long run is a time period where all factors are variable. So don't write time periods. Don't write, for example, 1 month, 1 year. Don't put those nonsense. All right. Then we did a few MCQs also, which most of you all got correct, right? It was good to see this. Okay, so these were some past paper MCQs. In the short run, land and capital. We don't consider land, guys. We only consider labor and capital. So in the short run, labor is variable, capital is fixed. In the long run, labor and capital both are variable. We ignore land and entrepreneurship. Okay. Then, right, we'll then get into this one, guys. Short run production. Yes, what is the short run production? Short run production is where when the firm wants to increase its output, what can it do? It uses both variable and fixed. If it wants to increase output, it can only increase its variable input, right? So remember my example of this. How many of you all remember this example? Our new newspaper printing business, where we were printing newspapers. Remember, we kept on adding more and more people. Remember, we had one big printer, and what did we do? To this one big printer, we kept on adding, right? We kept on adding more and more and more people. What happened, guys? When I kept on adding more and more people, did my output completely increase? what happened? Did my output, right? Did it go up and up and up and up and up? No, right? Remember what happened? Initially, when I increased, initially it increased, right? When I initially added the first person, second person, third person, it went up. Then after that, it started to get a little slow, right? It still went up, but slowly. After that, place got too crowded, no? There are so many fellows. One fellow is jumping from up and coming down. He is sliding from the stairs, right? They are knocking each other, right? What happened? After one point, the output started to decrease as well, right? So those were all problems that we had. So we'll just look at this case. Remember this table. Now, when you look at this, now it might look a little scary. Guys, also all those people, guys, theory class people, the ones who are registered, do you have the tute with you? Yes, because all of this has to be written in the tute. You all have the tute. Anyone without the tute? Because I sent so many messages on the group also asking those who don't have, right? Please check the group. So all of you all must have a printed tute by now, guys. If you all still don't have a printed tute, that is after, if you're a registered student, okay, if you're registered, paid the class fee, and if you have come, by now you should have a printed tute because I sent it like long time ago, right? The first batch I sent around 3-4 weeks ago. Yeah, and since then I have been asking, and somehow I have sent. But still, if there is anyone, ask, okay? Don't come 1 or 2 months later after I finish the unit and ask for the tute. Okay. So, right. Yeah, I sent another batch yesterday as well. So we'll see. Most of y'all, some of y'all last minute people, you all should get it by today or tomorrow. Okay. Now, then guys, I'm hoping you all would have made note of this in your tute as well, right? So if you looked at this, we saw what happened. We saw that initially, now see, now this table now looks a little scary, you know, if you were not there last class, all this is a mess. So what happened? To one fixed factor, when we kept on adding more and more variable factor, what happened? Initially, our total product increased rapidly, no? What is total product? Our total output. 0 went to 10, 10 went to 25, 25 went to 45. It increased rapidly. Then, after some point, when you still went and added more and more input, what happened? Total product increased, but increased slowly. Here, 45 to 60, 60 to 65, 65 to 67, then no change also. And when you went and added even more people, what happened? When you went and added even more people, the red one there, what happened? Your output start to decrease also now. Why? Too crowded. Remember I told you, then we talked about average product, we talked about marginal product. Remember the change in total product divided by the change in inputs. Yeah. And then we drew certain diagrams. You all remember these diagrams? The total product curve, the marginal product curve, and the average product curve. Now the matanga anything problem, right? That's why you need to go through and come, guys. Now, if you have gone through and come, this is nothing. Right? I don't even have to give you this recap again. Okay. So just to recap, remember, based on the behavior, or now I'm not going to show you how to draw these curves that we learned last class. Okay. Now, so based on the behavior of these curves, what did we do? We divided this short run into 3 stages. What were the 3 stages? Based on the case, based on the behavior of what curve do we divide these 3 stages? How many of you all remember? MP, AP, or TP? Based on the behavior of what? How do I figure out this is where stage 1 ends, this is where stage 2 ends? Based on the behavior of which curve? Total product, average product, marginal product. Which one? Based on the behavior of, guys, marginal product. Based on what? The behavior of this MP curve. So when the MP curve, remember the MP curve is the brown curve that is there in the second diagram. Now, when the marginal product is increasing, we call that increasing marginal returns. When the marginal product is decreasing, that stage is called diminishing marginal returns. When the marginal product is negative, that stage is called what? Negative marginal returns. That's how you divide the 3 stages. First, second, and the third. So today what we are going to do is we are going to talk about these stages a little bit more in detail. right? We'll start off with the first stage. Now, you all need to remember my printer example, okay? Now, initially what happened? Initially, there's a big printer. Now we are adding our first person, our second person, our third person. That is what initially happened, right? So that stage was called what? That stage was called increasing marginal returns. Now, you can say marginal, right? Even if you don't say marginal, it's still correct. Increasing marginal returns. Yes. In this stage, shall we talk a little bit about the features? What is happening to the marginal product in this stage? When you keep on adding more and more variable inputs, what is happening to the marginal product? That is the additional contribution of one person. What's happened? Marginal product is increasing, right? What is happening to the average product in this stage? The first stage. Average product is also increasing. What can you tell about the total product? Total product? Can't understand? Yes, if you were not there last class, reasonable you can't understand. I'm still repeating what we did last class, guys. I'm not teaching anything new. Yes, so if you were not there in the last class, you should have watched the recording and come, right? If you were there in last class and you still can't understand, let me know, right? I'll definitely repeat. Okay. So what's happening total product, guys, in this stage? Is still what we did last class. Huh? I'm still recapping now a little bit, going a little bit more advanced, nothing new. So what's happening? Total product is increasing at a what? Total product is increasing at a increasing rate, right? What's happening? Total product is increasing. What is increasing at an increasing rate? Guys, don't worry, guys. If you were not there last class, the recording of that is there on YouTube. You can always go and watch. Okay, this recording also, since it's a free class, I'll put it on YouTube later when I find some time. I might not find it today or tomorrow. When I find some time, I'll put it so you can watch. Okay. So total product is increasing at an increasing rate. Okay, what do you think is the reason for this? What is the reason? What is the reason? You know what the reason for this is? Why initially when you add more and more, right? Initially when you add more and more variable factors, right, to the fixed factor, why is the total product increasing rapidly? Why is the marginal product increasing? What do you think the reason is? You know the main reason. The main reason is, right, there is only one fixed factor. The fixed factor, right, in our example is what? In our example, the printer is what? Is underutilized in the first stage. Now remember, we had a big printer, right? That big printer, you can put around 3-4 people. So initially, the fixed factor is underutilized. There is a lot of productivity left in that. It can do better. So now when you're adding 1, 2, 3 people, what's happening? Now it's starting to get utilized better. Now that is why these are increasing initially. So why does it increase? So in the first stage, increasing marginal returns. Look at my note here. Look at this. We say initially adding to one production variable is likely to improve the output, as the fixed factor is what? As the fixed inputs are in abundance. That means we have a big, what do we have? We have one big machine. It's not used now, guys. It's underutilized, right? We have one big machine, but you know, only one person is using that. One person is loading the paper. He's running upstairs and putting the ink. He's taking the paper out. Remember our big printer, right? See, when there is only one person operating this printer, don't you think this printer is underutilized? You'll agree with me there. When there is just one person doing everything, he is loading the paper, he's putting the ink, he's running around, climbing the stairs, it's underutilized, no? So then when you added the second person, when you added the third person, what happened? Because this printer was underutilized, now the second, third person gives a big contribution. As a result, what happens, guys? As a result, our total product, our marginal product, all of it starts to increase. Yeah, see? Therefore, adding more units of variable factors will use the fixed factor more efficiently. Now remember, when you have a big machine, when there is only one person, it's not used efficiently. No? Now, when you add the first person, second person, third person, now the fixed factor gets utilized very efficiently. So as a result, this goes up. Is that clear, guys? Are you all okay with the logic? I don't want you all to memorize first stage marginal product goes up, total product go up, this go up. No, you need to know why does it go up. Okay. And then what happens? When you keep on adding more and more people, you now come to the second stage. What is the second stage? Now, what these are what? These are the stages of the law of diminishing marginal returns. We learned last class, right? I'll recap again, don't worry. In the second stage, what happens, guys? Now, when you keep on adding more, now you add the fourth person, you add the fifth person, you added the sixth person. Now, what's happening, guys? What is happening to marginal product now? Marginal product, is it increasing, decreasing, or what's happening? Empty. Now, marginal product is falling, right? It's starting to fall. That means what is marginal product? The additional contribution of one person, no? So marginal product is now is falling. What's happening to average product? Mainly in this stage, what's happened? Average product initially has a small increase, but mainly average product is also falling. What is happening to total product in this stage? In the second stage, diminishing returns. What's happening here? Here, what's happening? Is the total product decreasing? If I say total product decreases, is it correct? No. It increases, but increases slowly. How do we write that nicely? How do we give that in a formal word? Now, you can't say increases slowly. No, in your paper doesn't look nice. Now, you look like a fellow who doesn't know English. How can we say that? We can say the total product, right, is increasing, right? Total product is increasing at a what? Total product is increasing at a decreasing rate. Total product is increasing at a decreasing rate. Nice to see most of you all give answers, because I get around 30-40 messages. The moment you send a message, it goes down. But nice to see most of you all give me an answer. Knows that you all remember the stuff. So total product increases, but increases at a decreasing rate. And then why do you think this happens, guys? What do you think the reason? What do you think the reason is, guys? Now, earlier the fixed factor was underutilized. Now, what do you think? In this stage, what do you think? The fixed factor is what? In this stage, guys, the fixed factor becomes fully utilized. Fully utilized. So now there is people working on this, right? There is a person on top who is handling it. There is a person in the bottom. There is a person loading the paper. There is a person taking the printed papers out. So now it's fully utilized. So now when you add more and more people, it's not giving a big contribution. So when one person takes a break, other person is working. Now, when some people take lunch break, these people are working, right? So now it's fully utilized and nicely going. So total product is still increasing, but increasing slowly, little by little. We'll read the note here. Look at this. As more units of variable factor are added, the overall production will continue to increase. Yes, when they say overall production, which one are they talking about? MP, AP, or TP? Which one? Overall production is still continuing to increase means what is overall production? The total output. That's total product, right? So you need to be very careful, right? However, during this stage, what happens? The total product increases at a continuously decreasing rate. Total product is increasing, but at a decreasing rate, right? Remember, go to our diagram and check. See, now we are talking about the second stage, right? Total product is increasing, but the slope is falling, no? It's increasing at a decreasing rate. Okay. Now, then, okay, right. Total product increases that. Then, see, the process culminates. Guys, what do you think the word culminates means? Little bit of a big word. What do you think? With the product reaching its maximum value. Culminates means ends. So, where does the second stage end? The second stage ends where marginal product is 0, or in other words, when total product is at its maximum. Remember the graph now you all have to have this graph in your mind, okay? Where is the second stage ending? When the second stage is ending, marginal product is 0 and total product is at its maximum point. So where does the stage culminate, or we'll say end? When total product. Now in your note, if they say product, they're talking about total product. Okay, when the total product is at its maximum. We'll go down, we'll read the note again. Okay, the process culminates with the product reaching its maximum value. What is this product? This is the total product, huh? Reaching its maximum value, meaning marginal product becomes 0, right? Guys, now if I ask you, this newspaper firm, at which stage should it be producing? At the first stage where they have increasing marginal returns, or at the second stage where they have diminishing marginal returns, or at the third stage when they have negative margin? Where is the optimum level of production? At which stage do you think they can get the highest output and shape a balance and go? Where? Second stage, no? In the first stage, it's good, increasing marginal returns, but they can increase their output more, no? So the second stage is where the output is like maximized, you're getting the best use. You should not go and increase labor more, because if you go and increase labor more, then it's negative returns, right? So here, that's why we say, look at this. The optimum production is set somewhere within this stage. So within this stage, the firm has decided, okay, this is the optimum level of production. If we go and add more and more people, now it's going to harm us. So we'll stop here, right? Now this is a simple example. Think you have a factory. Now you have a factory, you have, let's say, a garment factory, right? You're an owner. So now for one machine, you're adding more and more people. At one stage, you realize, then enough. This is my optimum. If I add more and more, even more, then my output, whatever I have, is also now going to go down, right? So have that in mind. Then adding more units of variable factor after this point will lead to what? Will lead to the overall output starting to diminish. Remember, after the second stage, if you go and add even more, remember in my example, when you added the 7th, 8th, 9th labor unit, what's happening now? People are crashing with each other, right? One fellow is jumping from up and down, right? So many problems, no? And as a result, what happens? Total output falls then. Problems. So then, now we'll go to the third stage. Third stage is what? You have now gone and added even more people. First, you had increasing marginal returns. You added even little by little. Then you added even more. Then you went to diminishing marginal returns. Now you're increasing people even more than that. Yes. Now, if I ask you, why is this firm increasing people? Why can't they increase machines? Why can't they increase machines? Yes, third is like what happened in the parliament. Correct. Why can't they increase the machines? Are they stupid? Why are they increasing people? They could have gone and increased the bought a new machine. Why? Because remember, in the back of your head, you need to remember, we are in the short run. In the short run, what? In the short run, fixed factors are there. So capital is fixed. So in the short run, there is a limitation. In the short run, we can't increase machines. That is why we are increasing labor. Not because we like the labor, or the girl who is coming to work looks nice. No, right? Why are we increasing labor? Because we can't increase capital. Capital is fixed in the short run. Maybe if we move to the long run, then you can. That's a different story. But in the short run, Amaru, right? We can only add labor. So when you keep on adding more and more and more and more, when you come to the last stage, what is the last stage, guys? Negative marginal returns. So you can call this negative returns. What happens here? Can you tell me what happens to total product in this stage? Total product is now decreasing, right? What is happening to marginal product in the last stage? It's decreasing, but what's something? Can you tell me something more in the third stage? It's decreasing, correct? Now, even second stage also it's decreasing. Here it's decreasing and it's decreasing and it's decreasing and it is negative. Decreasing and it's negative, right? Then what is happening to average product? Average product decreases. Is average product negative? Is that negative? No. Average product is just decreasing. Don't go and write now. Some people I have seen when I say negative, they say average product is also negative. Go to your diagram and see. MP is negative. Average product is not negative. Average product is going down. Yes, why do you think in this fund? What do you think? The fixed factor is what? I'll give you a, we'll go in the order and see. Okay, we'll see how many of you can figure this out. In the first stage, fixed factor is underutilized. Second stage, fixed factor is fully utilized. Can you guess in the third stage, the fixed factor is what? In the short run, is it small, medium? You don't talk about a scale like that, usually like a small scale. What can you say, guys? In the third stage, right? Most of you have guessed that correct. In the third stage, the fixed factor now is overutilized. You're exploiting the fixed factor. You have one machine. You have added so many people. You have added the people, all right? And now it's a complete mess, right? So that is the problem. So those are the three stages, guys. Now, this is a very common question that comes in your A-level paper. They either give you MCQs or they give you essay questions, right? Now, I showed you a few MCQs that they can ask, right? Yes, give me 1 second. Okay, right. So then, so we looked at a few MCQs also, right? Here, the this MCQ, right? We'll have to go to long run as well. We'll go through. Now, shall we try out a few more MCQs? Now, we did this already. Shall we try out a few more? 2011 is done, 14 is done. Can you give me a second? Let me try to open my MCQs. I have not included in the slides here. Give me a second. Api balap. Right. Econ, where is my past papers? Beyond the past papers and all, guys, in the in our revision class, you will get, right? You will get all the past papers unit wise. You all will get a printed paper. Okay, so don't worry. Now I'll share a document right now. This document in the past paper class, not in the past paper, in the revision class, I'll be giving it to you. So don't worry about that, right? I'll print it and I will be sending it in your doors. Right. I'm guessing you all can see a new screen, right? Okay. Right. So we'll go a little down and see this PDF you all will be getting, guys. Okay. Where were we? Right. Let's try to go to the latest papers. We'll go to 2021 in the marginal cost. Cost I have not taught you all yet. Cost is the second part of this unit. Cost, second part. No. This is a long run, which I will be teaching you all today. We'll do this. No questions. No, I have done everything. Recognize mutual interdependence. Cost, marginal cost and all, we'll do it in the next part. marginal cost. Did we do this? 2017 karada, we did 2014, we did 2011. No, we have not done 2017. Let's, shall we try and guess this? Okay. 2017 A levels, question number 16, right? Law of diminishing returns. What is the law of diminishing returns? That whole law, in that law only we have the 3 stages, no? Okay, we'll see how many of you all can get this right. Law of diminishing returns states as the size of the plant. Guys, remember, plant means factory, right? We say a production plant, that means a factory, yeah? As the size of the plant increases, marginal product eventually decreases. Law of diminishing return. As the size of, it was there in the quiz. As the size of the plant increases, average cost eventually decreases. As the firm uses more of variable input, given the quantity of fixed input, marginal product eventually decreases. As the firm uses more of variable input, given the fixed input, average cost decreases. As the firm uses more of fixed input, given the quantity of variable input, marginal product decreases. Think guys, which one is the most correct one? Law of diminishing returns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Easiest way guys is cut off answers. That's how you do MCQs. I'll teach you in the revision class also when we do, right? Nothing big to teach. You cut off answers and come to the final. What do you all think? Others? Which one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So far, all the answers I have is correct. Even if it's wrong or you don't know, just give an answer. At least what you think is correct. That's okay. Which one? Right. Nice. So far, I think, I don't know if I missed any answer, but all the answers I have is correct. There was not a single wrong answer. That was that. Okay. So the answer, guys, is number 3. What is number 3? So law of diminishing returns says when you add more and more variable input to what? When you add more and more variable input to a fixed input, what happens? Marginal product eventually starts to come down. Right. That's correct. We'll see if I can find another one. Okay. This is also long run, which we will do today. Yes. What do you think about this? This also we have not done. 15. In the production process, a short run is a period of time in which, not sure where we did, the firm is not able to hire more workers, the amount of output is fixed, there is a shortage of most inputs, all inputs are fixed, but output can be varied, quantities of some inputs are fixed, others can be varied. What do you think? It's the 5th one, no? I think we did this, no? Did we? Can't remember if we did this before. Looks like a very familiar MCQ. Don't know if I did with another batch. We did? No? Okay, I did. Right. So I think those are the areas that we get. We'll look at a few essay questions, guys. Now, essay questions, now we will not write answers. We'll just see, right? We'll just have a look to see whether you all can do. Right. Okay, look at this one. 2 marks. 2011. Explain the law of diminishing returns. And right now, guys, you can say, the law of diminishing return states in the short run, when the firm adds more and more variable input to a fixed input, after a certain point, marginal product, average product, and all of it starts to decrease. There are 3 stages: increasing marginal returns, diminishing, negative. Enough, only 2 marks. That's more than enough. See, a very easy question there. Then, okay, this one is from cost, you can't do. This is also cost, can't do. Okay, so this is also here. What is the difference between diminishing returns and decreasing returns scale? That we will learn today in the long run. Okay, so it's all connected, guys. They don't give you questions only from this. That's why we don't have much questions to write. Right, this is same repeated. Now we'll look at this. Okay, I think part of this we can do. Okay, state whether the following statements are true or false. Okay, total product starts falling when diminishing return sets in. See, diminishing returns is which stage? In that stage is total product falling. True or false? What do you think? Total product starts falling when diminishing returns sets in. See, look at your diagram. Which stage is diminishing return? There is increasing returns, diminishing, negative. In diminishing returns, is the total product falling? Think. Look at your diagram, at least look at what you wrote down. Diminishing returns is which stage? Diminishing returns is the second stage. In the second stage, now here this I got around 70% correct answer. Some people got it wrong. In the second stage, is the total product falling? No, right? Total product is increasing at a decreasing rate, right? So this one is what? False. False. Why? You can say, now you have to explain also, give reasons, So the reason is, right, during diminishing returns, you can say the total product still continues to increase. However, it increases at a decreasing rate. Increases, but increases at a decreasing rate. That's more than enough. See, 2 marks. So you have, 4 things like this to write 8 marks. Simple. There is nothing big, right? Can we do this? No. Okay. See this one. What is a production function? What is a production function? A production function shows the technical relationship between the input and the output. No, output is a function of labor and capital. That's a production function. Then what is the difference between the short run and the long run production function? In the short run production function, one factor is fixed. So capital is fixed. We say L1, L2, L3, but only 1K. In the long run, all factors are variable. So we have L1, L2, L3, K1, K2, K3. It goes on and on. Is that clear, guys? Simple question. Not that hard, no? Questions that is from me. Now we will do, right? We will do past papers. Don't worry, right? This is our theory class. No, theory class again, we do the theory. We'll have a revision class. We have a past paper class. We'll do those there. Right. Yeah, that is the basic story for now. So shall we take a small break and then shall we come to long run production? So we need to do long run production as well. That won't take that long. Long run production in like half an hour I can finish. There is nothing big. And then after that, we'll summarize this and we'll move to the, we'll summarize this after that and we'll move to this. Long run production is not very connected to last week, but there is a connection. So short run, long run is connected a little, right? So how long of a break shall we take? 7 minutes until 8:10. Fine. Now it is 8:03. Okay, so we'll take a break till 8:10 and come back. I start sharp on time, so don't miss any part. Come back by no, I will not start cost stage. Cost is next week, so only the first 2 sessions are free, which I will do only production. Okay, so we'll do long run production, and once long run production is done, we'll do a few MCQs under long run production, and then we'll go to the quiz. Okay, we'll see how many of you all understand. Listen carefully because all of this gets tested in today's quiz. Okay, so take a break and come. Okay, we'll start and get going. So now we'll move on to the next area, long run production. I'm hoping you all are back, guys. I did not give you all your dinner break. You can go and eat dinner at 9 itself, right? So this was a small break just to walk around, run to the washroom. Okay, just check your notifications on your phone, see what's happening on the groups, right? It was a small break for that. Okay, so we'll start with this area, long run production. Now, what is long run? Long run is a time period where you can change all your inputs, right? You can increase your labor also, you can increase your capital also. So therefore, we say in the long run, all inputs are variable. What do we say? In the long run, all inputs are variable. So that means in the long run, if you want to increase your output, you can hire people, you can buy new machines, you can do all of that, right? So here we say, in the long run, a production firm can engage in production while changing all inputs, labor, capital, everything. And then the behavior of the output following a change in all inputs is defined as the law of, or you can say is explained by the law of diminishing, sorry, not law of diminishing, law of returns to scale. Now you all need to know the two laws, guys. What is the first law? The first law is law of diminishing returns or law of diminishing marginal return. What is the law of diminishing return saying? That is, in the short run, when you keep on adding more and more variable input, that the marginal product and all will fall. That is what law of diminishing returns is like, short run. Then what is law of returns to scale? Now, easy way to remember, guys, when they use the word scale, now in the short run, you can't increase the scale of the business. You have one big printer, you are just adding more and more people. But in the long run, you can increase your printers. You can open new branches, buy a new factory, right? So what happens in the long run? The scale of the business increases. So easy way to remember is, given that in the long run, the scale of the business expands, the law governing the long run is what? The law of returns to scale. Law of returns to scale. And then see, in the long run, the production firm can change its total capacity. Think, Pilu. Earlier, you were a small firm. You can only print, let's say, 100 newspapers. But now you have 3 factories, you have 10 printers, right? So the capacity, the firm size or the size of the plant starts to now increase. So that is what this law of returns to scale is saying. Law of returns to scale is saying, look here, now we are in the long run. Now we can increase all our inputs. When we increase all our inputs, the scale of our business will change, right? That is saying that. So this is a very common question that they give to distinguish between these two, law of diminishing returns and law of returns to scale. Or else they will give you to distinguish between two stages. Now, in the law of returns to scale, guys, there are 3 stages. What are the 3 stages? One is increasing returns to scale, then decreasing returns to scale, and then you have constant returns to scale. These are 3 stages. Now, sometimes now you would have seen, right, in past papers also, sometimes there is a question that says distinguish between diminishing returns, right? Diminishing returns is the second stage in the previous law, and decreasing returns to scale. Or sometimes they will say diminishing returns and decreasing returns to scale means the same thing. Do you agree? Right? So you need to know the difference between these two laws. Let's go through one by one. Very simple, guys, not at all hard. Long run is actually easy. In our syllabus, we don't go into detail about long run. Just the basics only that we will learn. So there are no graphs and calculations. Even, okay? Look at this. So in the long run, the first stage is called increasing returns to scale. Now, what happens in this first stage? Very simple, guys. You know what happens? In increasing returns to scale, when you increase your input, your output increases by a greater proportion. When you increase your input, your output increases by a greater proportion. Yes, give me 1 second. I'm getting a call. Can you read this part for a little? Give me 1 second. Right. Sorry guys, we got a small call. Too much of I usually don't take calls during class, but very urgent work, not easy. Right. So coming back to my thing, what were we talking? We were talking about the three stages. Three stages of what? The three stages of the law of returns to scale. So in this law of returns to scale, in these three stages, the first stage is what you call increasing returns to scale. What is increasing returns to scale? Very simple, guys. Increasing returns to scale is there when you increase your input, okay, your output increases by a greater percentage. Now, how does that work? Now, for example, just think, we'll take our previous example. In our previous example, we had one printer. To this one printer, we had around 10 people working. Okay, so that means, so we had one fixed factor, we had 10 variable factors, 10 labor. So we had a total amount of inputs of, sorry, not 11. We had a total amount of inputs of 11 people. So 10 people and one printer. We had total 11 factors of production inputs. Now I am saying in the log, guys, can you tell me this? If this firm, my same previous example, if this firm goes into the long run, what do you think it would do now? Will it hire one more person or will it soon buy a new printer? What is it going to do? Is it going to buy a new printer or hire a new person? What is my firm going to do? They're going to buy a new printer, right? So they will add one more factor, right? They will add one more factor. So that is what? That is a printer. So can you tell me, guys, in the numbers that you wrote? Okay, we'll go up below, right? So when there were 9 these things, the total output was 40, right? So when there were 9 labor units, okay, when there were 9 labor units, right? So fixed factor 1, labor 9, there is what? The total product is 40. Now, I said that, right? I'm repeating. I said, when you come to the long run, what will you do? You will not increase labor, no. Rather than increasing labor, you will increase your fixed factor. Now, you can increase, there is no fixed factor in the long run. So, you will now buy 2 printers and you will have the same 9 labor. What do you think, guys? What do you think happens to the output now? Now, there are 9 people. They can now distribute, right? Half can go to this, half can go to that. What happens? You just bought one printer. What will happen to your output now? Your output will increase rapidly, no? Because now, just because now see, earlier 9 people were too much, no, for that printer. So they were troubling each other and all of that. But now when you bought 2 printers, now you divide the 2. Now what happens? Now everyone can work nicely, right? The moment you just increased your input by just 1, what happens? Let's say your output goes to 80. So can you see? We increased input by a little, but what happened? Output increased by a greater proportion. Output increased a lot. So that is what you call increasing returns to scale. What is increasing return scale? Once again, look at this. The proportionate increase in output is more than the proportionate increase in input. Example, when you increase input by 20%, output increases by 30%. You increase input by 20, but output increases a not even greater percentage. So do you get the logic behind how it happens? Can you see that? You were using so much of, labor. Now the moment you add just one printer, now the labor can get divided among each other. They can do a lot of things. So output goes up high. That is what you call the first stage, increasing returns to scale. Any questions so far? Fine. Yes, so increasing returns to scale is the first stage of the law of returns to scale. Okay. Now we'll go a little bit more in detail talking about the reasons. Why does this happen? Now I just gave you a simple example. Why does this happen? Right? No, here in this, labor and capital will both change. Now, initially in my example, it was better to increase a machine. So depending on the situation, they will increase labor or capital. Okay. Output should be less than the input. No, the output increases. We are not talking about output input. We are saying output increases greater than the increase in input. So the percentage change in input, right, is lesser than the percentage change in output. Or you can say when you increase, let's say just 1%, input is increased. Now see, if I go from 10 to 11, that's a 10% increase in the input. But when I increase input by 10%, my output is increasing, it's doubling. There's a 100% increase in my output. Got it? So a small increase in input causes a big increase in your output. That's what you call increasing return to scale. So we'll talk about the reasons of those cases, right? The reasons are here factors that affect increasing returns to scale. One reason is, now remember, increasing returns to scale means you're in the long run. Long run, you can buy machines, you can buy, you can buy everything, right? So that is what happens. Give me a second. Okay. Okay. So then, right, what happens here? Okay. We'll look at the reasons now. The first reason that we have is indivisibility of production factors. What's that? Okay. Now, think guys, when we are buying a machine, can we buy half a machine? Can you buy half a machine? You can't. When you're buying a machine, now look at, remember our printer, right? We can't remember our printer, right? That big printer that is there. You can't buy half a printer, no. So when you're buying a printer, when you're adding one more input, you have to add one big input, right? So when you just add one in, you can't buy half a printer or quarter printer. So when you add one, it's indivisible, right? You can't divide and buy small parts of a printer. So just because you buy one, those factors are indivisible. Now even think of, let's say, buildings, let's say. Now earlier, let's say you were operating in one building. Okay, there were around 100 people working in. Now it's crowded and all. So now if you're going to expand, you can't buy half a building. No, you will have to buy another entire building, right? So that is what you call indivisibility of factors. Given that these factors are indivisible, what happens? Then just when you increase one full factor, output increases a lot. Is that clear, guys? The first one, indivisibility of production factors. Yes. Does that make sense? Because our production factors are, like, I'll re-explain again, don't worry. Okay. So because these factors are what? Because these factors, let me just quickly summarize. Think when you're adding a what? When you're adding a new, sorry guys, my mind is a little off, right? So when you're adding one more machine, right, what happens? You can't add half a machine. Now in my previous example, right, we have one big printer and we have around 10 people working. Now, if I want to increase one more production factor, can I increase half a machine? So if I'm increasing, I have to buy one full machine, no? I have to increase one full machine. So when I do that, now because production factors are not divisible, when I add one full machine, when I increase just one machine, what happens? My output increases by a greater percentage, right? That's what you call indivisibility of production factors, because you can't add half a machine. If you're adding, you have to add a full machine. So when you add just one full machine, output increases a lot. The second reason, guys, is when you're in the long run, is have you learned specialization and division of labor? Have you learned this? Specialization and division of labor? Yeah. What happens, guys? when you are in a, okay, can you tell me this specialization and division of labor is practiced in a small firm or a large firm? Where do you practice this? Small or a large firm? Where do they practice this division of labor, breaking the production process? In large firms, right? So when a firm enters the long run, what happens? It increases its capacity, right? It increases all of it. So what does that mean, right? What does that mean? That means it can now practice. It can now practice. Hold on. Right. Okay. So it can now do what? It can now practice things like specialization and division of labor. So as a result, what happens? As a result, they become very efficient now. So when they increase input, what happens? Output increases a lot because they are practicing specialization. People are highly specialized, right? So that is reason number two. The third reason is the use of machinery. Now, in the short run, you can't get very sophisticated machines and all. No. In the short run, if you want to increase your input, what can you do? This PDF is sent on the group page. It's already sent. I sent around 2-3 times. Okay. Just check. Okay. So this use of machinery in short run, we can't increase our machines. No. In the short run, only thing you can do is you can increase labor. But remember my thing here, my example. What did we do? When we wanted to increase our output of our printing business in the long run, what's the first thing that you all told me to do? You all told me don't hire more people, sir, go and buy a new printer. So what did we do? We used machinery. So in the long run, you can do that. In the long run, given that you can use better and better machines now. Now you can now, for example, earlier if you had a smaller printer, now you can buy a bigger printer. You can get bigger stuff. So as a result, what happens? By just putting one big printer, your output increases a lot, right? That is reason number three. And the third one, the last one, is the existence of one-time cost. Now, this is not a very important thing, but you need to realize this buying printers, buying capital is a one-time cost, right? Now, not like labor. No. So something like labor, every time you hire labor, every month you have to pay. You pay and pay. But something like a machine or something like this thing, one time you spend and buy it, after that it's there. No, yes, it will get depreciated and all of that is there, but it's there. No, so those are reasons why you will have. They are not going to go into detail on these reasons, guys, don't worry. Okay, so those are the reasons why we have increasing returns to scale. So let me summarize quickly in 1 minute. What is increasing returns to scale? That is, in the long run, when the firm increases all its inputs, that is labor and capital both, what happens? The output increases by a greater percentage. So you increase input by around 10%, but let's say output increases by 20%. That is increasing returns to scale. So then, what are the reasons? There are 4 reasons. So what are the 4 reasons that we have? One is indivisibility of production factors, specialization through division of labor, use of machinery, and existence of one-time cost. Is that okay, guys? One-time cost means, now, for example, for a machine, you don't have to regularly pay. No? You pay once and you buy it after the machine is yours, right? That's what we say one-time cost. Any questions, guys? Fine. Yeah. Okay. We'll then, right, we'll go into, right, now after you reach that point, right, now these stages are not in order, guys. Now after, initially what happens is, initially you have hold on, right? Okay, so initially what happens, initially output increases a lot. After that, Now, when you're in the long run also, after one point, you can't go up and up and up and up, right? After one point, what happens is you will reach constant returns to scale. What is constant return to scale, right? Constant return to scale is where when you increase your input, output also increases by the same percentage. You increase input by, let's say, 20%. Output also increases by 20%. That is what you call constant return scale. There are no reasons, there are nothing like that. You need to know after increasing return to scale, after one point, you come to constant return to scale. What is constant return to scale? You increase input, output also increases by the same percentage, right? That is that. Then look at the example. When increasing inputs by 20%, output increases by the same percentage of 20%. That's what you call constant return scale. Not hard at all. And what if you go and increase your input even more? Yes, you can't say inputs equals output. You can say the percentage increase in input is equal to percentage increase in output. Okay. Then after that, what happens? You come to decreasing return scale. Now just think of my printing business, right? Now remember my example from last class. Let's say now we entered the long run, we bought a new printer, now we kept on expanding, right? We were in Colombo, now we opened a branch in Kandy, Nuwara, Galle, Hambantota, Jaffna, Anuradhapura, right? Now we have, let's say, gone overseas also, right? So now in, let's say, in 2-3 years, we have expanded a lot. Okay, we have expanded, huge expansion has been made, right? Long run. And then what happens, guys? Now, don't you think there is going to be stress? Think handling so much, right? Now you have to hire more and more. For example, you have to now hire a branch manager. You have to hire a area manager. You have to hire a country manager. Now you'll have to have a marketing manager. Look at all the markets. Now it's too much of stress, right? When you look at one branch and come, the other branch is playing the fool. When you do this, the other person is doing something, right? Then problems with coordination and management. When you are in the long run, now you have expanded, right? You have printing businesses all over Sri Lanka. You're printing newspapers in around 20-30 factories around. So now managing, coordinating itself is very hard, right? And then your factors, now you're in the long run, the factors, your capital, your printers that you bought around 2-3 years ago, now they are starting to depreciate. Now you have to replace them with new ones. So problems, no? So as a result, what happens? You will then go into decreasing returns to scale. What is decreasing returns to scale? When your input increases, output increases by a lesser percentage. Here, the proportionate increase in output is less than the proportionate increase in input. So your example, you increase input by 20%, but your output is increasing by only 15%. What is that? Decreasing returns to scale. So that is what you have in the long run. So let me summarize quickly in 2 minutes. After that, if you all have questions asked, we'll then move to the MCQs. Okay. So once again, what is the long run? Listen carefully. Long run is the stage of production where all the factors are variable. So labor is variable, capital is variable, right? Everything is variable. Then what is the law governing the long run? The law of returns to scale. According to law of returns to scale, how many stages? There are 3. The first stage is called increasing returns to scale. Now, what is happening in increasing returns to scale? When you increase your input, output increases by a greater percentage, increases a lot. That is what happens initially. Now, in our printing business, we had 1 printer, 10 labor. The moment you added 1 more printer, right, output will increase rapidly. That is increasing returns to scale. There were 4 reasons. What were the 4 reasons? One is indivisibility of production factors. Second is specialization. Third is use of machinery. And the fourth is existence of one-time cost. After increasing returns to scale, right, you will most likely go to constant returns to scale. That is where when you increase your input, output also increases by the same percentage. Input increase by 10%, output increases by 10%. That is constant returns to scale. And then think of our printing business. 2-3 years down the line, you have now expanded, become a branch, right? You have 100 different branches in the country. Now what happens? Now there is stress, hard to coordinate. Your machines are, buildings are getting depreciated. So then what happens? You then reach what? Decreasing returns to scale. That is where when you increase your input, output increases by a lesser percentage. That is the law of returns to scale and the long run production. Any questions? Are you all okay? Questions, problems, issues? How does one-time cost affect out? One-time cost, how it, that's why I said it's not a very important thing, right? But the existence of one-time cost is a motivation for firms, right? It's a motivation for firms to go and, you know, for example, buy a machine. Because now, rather than hiring labor, now if I hire labor, I know every month I have to pay, no? But something like a machine, I know, right? If I buy it now, after I don't have to pay. So that is a reason for firms to go and increase their capital. So they will do that because of the existence of one-time cost. Firms will go and go do that and get that done. So it's not a very important thing, but it's a little bit there. Really up to a definition for law of return scale. Law of return scale, there is no definition as say, but you can say now if you're defining law of return scale, you can say this is the law governing the long run. It shows the behavior of how the output will behave in the long run when you increase all your inputs. So then there are 3 stages. Initially, according to law of return scale, when you increase input, output increases by a greater percentage, that is increasing return to scale, then constant, then decreasing. You can explain that. Okay. Now, shall we try out these MCQs, guys? We'll see how many of you all can get this right. This is 2014. 2014, question number 40. Okay. The meaning of this is, so in the long run, guys, now when you say resources, labor, capital, both. Now, if you take capital, it has one-time cost, right? So I'm not saying all the resources have one-time, okay? So the meaning of law of returns scale is, think and give, the way of change in total output of the firm to a change in the price of inputs. The way of change in total output of the firm when variable inputs are changed while holding at least one input constant. The way of change in total output of the firm to a change in technology. The way of change in total output of the firm to a change in the quality of input. The way of change in total output of a firm when all inputs are changed. What do you think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, these are actual past papers. I didn't make this question to make it easy for you or for you to feel good. It's actually a level past paper question. Which one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So far, all the answers I have is correct. Others, do you all want to give it a try? Right, I've got a few wrong answers as well. But most of it is correct. Which one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Law of returns scale. Law of returns scale is the, it's what? It's the sixth one, guys. It's what? It's how the output changes when all your inputs change. So the other answers I had is one person said number 1. Number 1 is wrong because we don't talk about the price of the inputs. No, guys. Did I say a price of inputs anything? No. And then third one, change in technology? No. Right? Remember, in the long run and the short run, technology is fixed. There is something called a very long run that you all don't have in A levels, right? You all will learn later, maybe, if you all do econ. So there is something called a very long run. That is where the technology of the firm changes. Technology also, short run and long run, both of it is constant. Okay. So good. Most of you all got that correct. We'll try another one. Okay. Okay. We'll see how many of you all can get this right. When a firm increases all its inputs by 50%, output increase by 40%. They have increased inputs by 50. Output has increased by 40. This situation is illustrated as the law of what? Diminishing returns, decreasing returns to scale, variable proportions, increasing returns to scale, marginal returns. What is this? You increase input by 50%, output increased by 40%. What happened? This is decreasing returns to scale, right? Number 2, most of y'all again got that correct. Good. You increase input by 50, but output went up by only 40. Can you give me some reasons? Why? Why did you, why when your output increased by 50, your input, input increased by 50, output only increased by 40? Reasons? Okay, stress, right? Problems with coordination and management. Okay, coordination problems. And depreciation. Those are the reasons. Now, in your paper, you know what they can do? They can say, when a firm increased input by 50%, output increased only by 40%, which of the following could be a reason for that? Same question, they can turn it around. That's what they do in A-levels, guys, right? We'll do, when we do past papers, you always see, okay? And then this one, right? So this small essay question from the latest A-level paper that we have, okay? Explain the difference between diminishing returns to scale, decreasing returns to scale and diminishing returns to a variable factor. So the two laws, remember I told, they'll tell you to compare two stages. So what is decreasing returns to scale? So you're right, 2 paragraphs. Decreasing returns to scale is where when the firm is in the long run, when it increases its input, right, output increases by a lesser percentage. Reasons are stress and this and that and that. 2 marks there. Then you say diminishing returns is where when the firm is in the short run, when it adds more and more variable input, the marginal product starts to fall and the total product increases slowly. This is because the fixed factor is fully utilized, right? You can write that. So then you get your 4 marks. These are the questions that you actually get, right? So we'll focus on questions answer writing in our revision class. For now, the objective is to make you understand. So don't worry about what to write and all those. In the revision class, we will do later onwards when we start. Is that okay, guys? Fine. Okay. I'll give you a little bit of a harder question, right? I'll make a question and give you. We'll see how many of you all can get this. Okay, we'll see, right? There is labor. Okay, that's your variable input. This is your total product. Okay, labor, let's say you had 10, 20, 30. Total product, let's say, is 100, 300, and let's say 750. If I ask you, I have just given you these numbers. From these numbers, if I ask you, which stage are you in the short run? In the short run, there are 3 stages, right? Increasing marginal returns, diminishing marginal returns, negative marginal returns. I'm asking you, which stage are we in? Now, I have not given you anything. I've just given you some numbers. How are you going to figure this out? Are you in the increasing? Are you in the diminishing? Are you in the negative? Which one? You know now, this question, it looks a little easy to find, but the easiest way is to calculate the marginal product, right? Remember, in the first stage, marginal product is increasing. Second stage, marginal product is decreasing. Third stage, marginal product is negative. So calculate marginal product. How do you calculate marginal product? Change in total product divided by the change in variable input. So when you're going from here to here, change in total product is 200. Change in variable input is 10, right? So 10 going to 20. Marginal product is 20. When you go from here to here, change in total product is 450. Change in variable input is 10. So marginal product is 45. So what is happening, guys? MP is increasing. Which stage is this? Increasing marginal returns, diminishing marginal returns, negative marginal returns. Stage 1, 2, or 3. Where are you at? You're at the first stage, right? So they can give you questions like this. Okay. So that is basically it with what I wanted to teach you all. So the first 2 free sessions covers around 25 to 30% of the unit. So I didn't want to stop at halfway. Usually I do 1 free session, but if I do 1 free session, then it's like incomplete. That's why I did 2 free sessions. So at least those who are coming for free, you can learn the production part and finish off with me itself. So next class is not free, guys. That will only be done to my normal theory students. You can register though, and you can pay and register 2,500. The monthly fee tute will be couriered. The earlier you pay, the sooner the tute will be couriered, right? I am planning to courier the next set of tutes on Friday. So if anyone is joining, you can pay and register by, let's say by Thursday. Today is Wednesday. So if you can pay and register by tomorrow, then I can send your tutes on Friday. So then if I send on Friday, most likely you'll get on Saturday or on Monday. That means next class Wednesday when you come, you have the printed tute with you. So that is for whoever is looking at paying and registering and continuing the normal theory class. So that is it with the first 2 free sessions. Hope you all learned something, and I hope it was not very boring, right? That's the last thing that I want to do. Hope that it was a little bit interesting and okay. I know it's not as great as a physical class. I also don't joke too much. You can't see your crush and all that is there. But I believe that the advantages for online class is higher, saves a lot of time, saves a lot of money. And in addition to that, it has the recording. So you can always watch the same recording even 100 times, which you don't have that on physical setting. Right. So with that, shall we move to the quiz, guys? Are you all ready? So shall we do the this time's quiz? We'll do it in team mode. I have not done this in team mode before, so we'll try it out. Right. I'm also trying it out for the first time. We'll see. Right. So give me a second until I load the quiz. So until I load the quiz, you can get your devices ready. Right. You can go to the website and stay. I'll give you all instructions as well. Okay. We'll see. We'll see which team wins. Right. I don't know how you all will be allocated to teams. I like if you all can choose your own team. Then I was planning to divide the boys and the girls or based on which district you live or something like that. But I think you can't choose your own teams. You randomly go into a team. We'll see. Right. So I'll share the screen. Hungry, no? I'm also hungry. What to do? Right. Okay. So I'll go to team mode this time. Usually we play classic mode. No? We'll go to team mode. Teams on personal devices. So all of you all will be playing. You all will. Now this is not going to be like a group project where one person answers, other person in the team looks and wait. No. Right. Everyone will answer on their personal device. Just like the last time. The only thing is the points comes to the team. Okay. Right. So no, this I'll give you all instructions, guys, how to join the quiz, same as last time. Right? But let me explain. For those who are joining the first time, right, so I'll add one more team. Right, so there are 4 teams. Okay, so we'll add one more team. There are 5 teams. Okay, right. So what you need to do is, for those who are joining the first time, go to this website. So on your phone, laptop, or anything, go to the website www.kahoot.it. KAHOOT.it. Right? I'll this thing, and then they'll ask you for a game pin. So I'll send the link also here. If you're joining from the phone, you can click on the link on the Zoom chat. They'll ask you for a game pin. So on the game pin, enter this number that is there. What's the number? 2500631. 2500631. 2500631. Enter that. Enter your name and you can join. So far, these are the people who have joined. Right, so there are 5 teams, right? You all will be randomly put in teams, guys. I don't think you all get to choose your teams, right? So we have Team Fire, Team Ocean, Team Sunshine, Team Sunset, and Team Forest. Okay. We'll see how it goes. I also haven't played it before. So far per team, there is around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Okay, so teams are moving around, right? Some teams have 6 people, some teams have 5. You can join it. It'll be interesting, right? You will be in one of the teams. Remember, you will get a team total, right? So based on what everyone answers, you all will get like an average. So I also don't know which team will win. We'll see. Okay, right? Most of you all have joined. Right, there is 3. Okay. Right. So I'll give you all maybe like 1 more minute. You can play this in your phone. Right. Any predictions, guys? Which team would win? There is fire. There is ocean. No, you don't have to download the app also, guys. You can just go onto the website. Don't download that. If you want, you can do, but that will take time. Maybe your login and just go to the website from your phone browser, Google Chrome or something. Go to kahoot.it and enter the game. Right. So team fire, team motion, team sunshine. Names I didn't set, guys. Names came automatically. Team sunset and team forest. Okay, so each team, I think there is around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. We will see how it goes. Even in the middle, you all can join, guys. I'll start and I will get going. Even in the middle, you can join. Okay, so the game pin, remember the game pin. Game pin is there in the chat box. The game is not locked. So even in the middle, you can join. You will get allocated to a team. Right? So there are 42 people here. Right, we'll start. It's all from last class and today's class. Okay, we'll start and get going. I'll have my video off so it doesn't get stuck. Question 1. Which of the following best describes the relationship between marginal product and average product in the short run? When MP is at its maximum, AP increases. When MP is positive, AP is decreasing. When MP is 0, AP is negative. AP cuts MP at its maximum point. Be careful, there are tricky answers. Not very easy. Yeah? Okay. The answer is the red one, guys. The green one was purposefully put. AP cuts MP at its maximum. No, it's the other way. MP cuts AP at its maximum. When AP is at its maximum only, it gets cut, right? Not when MP is at its maximum. Go and think, right? So the answer is the first one. When MP is at its maximum, AP is increasing. Now, question 2. Right. So, okay. So far we have Team Sunshine on top with 621 points. Then we have Team Fire, Team Forest. Then okay. So these are the points, right? Okay. Individual names are also there. Now, we'll see. Next one. Which of the following is a characteristic of the long run in production? All inputs are fixed, some inputs are fixed, some are variable, all inputs are variable, total cost is minimized. Easy one. Long run. Right, so that most of you all got it right. All inputs are variable. We'll see the team performance. Team performance, first is still first, right? Some teams have changed, right? Ocean on second, Forest is there, right? Okay, very, very close though. Moving to the next. Marginal product is calculated as the change in total product divided by the change in what? Total input, average fixed cost, average variable cost, marginal product. Change in total product divided by change in what? You lost coverage. Sad. Try from another device at least. It's what? It's this divided by the total change in input, right? Not the change in average variable cost. You can say input or variable input. That is a better one. Going to the next. Right. The next one. Which of the following scenarios is most likely to demonstrate the law of diminishing marginal returns? Bakery increases the number of ovens and experience higher rate of output growth. Hotel hires extra chefs and experiences a constant rate of output growth. Factory adds more lines and experiences a decreasing rate of output growth. Farm expands its land and that thing. Little bit tricky though. Right. So the answer is the yellow one. So when they say increase more lines, that means they're adding more lines of workers, right? It's a little bit of a hard one though, guys. That's okay. Oh, right. The output list has changed. That's a very close though, all the three teams. We'll see. 5. In the short run, a firm experiences diminishing returns when fixed input becomes more productive, variable input becomes more scarce, fixed input is fully utilized, fixed input becomes more abundant. When do you have diminishing marginal return? This I explain. Now, when the fixed input is fully utilized. Right. Most of you all got that correct. We'll see team performance. Oh, right, getting very close, right? There are 4 teams in 2000. Question 6. The law of returns to scale is where total output changes to a change in the price of inputs, where total output changes the variable input, where total output changes to change in technology. We did this in the past paper also. The way total output changes to a change in all inputs. If you were listening during class, this is like a free bonus point for you because we did the same question in class. Now, right. So most of you all have got it. Right. Good. Team performance. Okay. Team performances have changed a little. Guys, the faster you all answer, more points you all get. Right. Okay. Okay. Next one. The law of decreasing returns to scale suggests that when all inputs are increased, output will increase by the same proportion, increase by a larger proportion, increase by a smaller proportion, remain constant. Law of decreasing returns to scale. If you increase input, output will now output increases by a smaller proportion. Guys, remember you all have points for answering fast, okay? You get more points. Right, tables. Okay, this looks like the table for now. Right. Team ocean on top, fire, sunshine, forest, and sunset. Right. Everyone's close. The final 2 points are questions are double the points also. Remember that. Which of the following is not a factor affecting increasing returns to scale? Not. Indivisibility of factors, technological advancements, favorable political conditions, specialization, and division of labor. Not a factor affecting increasing returns to scale. Easy one. So it's the favorable political condition. There's nothing like that, no? Correct. Have the tables changed? No, tables look like the same. Right. Next one. Question 9. Double points. Now your last team can become first. In the long run, if a firm experiences increasing returns to scale, which of the following is likely to occur? High levels of production efficiency, reduced market demand for the firm's product, decreased economies of scale, increased average cost. What do you think? Practically think and write this. They are experiencing increasing returns to scale. So when you increase input, output is increasing by a greater percentage. What do you all think? The answer is the first one, right? Higher levels of production efficiency. Good. I didn't expect most of you all to get that correct. All right. The 5th team has already come to the 2nd place. Okay. Right. So remember, there's a lot of changes, right? Even the last team can win it all of a sudden. Yes, it all depends on your teamwork. Let's see. Question 10. Double the points. Which stage of production is the firm in the short run in? Labor is given, total product is given. These are the last thing that I taught you. Increasing returns to scale, increasing marginal returns, diminishing marginal returns, decreasing returns to scale. Remember, only labor is increasing, right? So this short run. So you have 40 seconds, you have 1 whole minute. You can take time, do the calculation and do it. No problem. So you're in diminishing marginal returns, guys. If you calculated the marginal product, you would have seen what was it getting. Marginal product initially was 25, then it was a 20, right? So we look at the leaderboard. Quiz is done. Now, so in the podium, we'll see. So on third place, we have Team Forest. I don't know who the names are though, right? On second, we have Team Sunset. And on first place, we have Team O. So I'll send the individual scores as well. So we have Team Fire on fourth and Team Sunshine on fifth. And I'll send you all the individual scores as well on the group. I don't know if this was interesting as a individual quiz. So we'll have a mix, right? Each week we'll have a mix of individual and team, right? And then at least we'll see. We'll try to. This is the first time that we are doing a team quiz, no? Right? We'll see if there is a way that we can allocate you all to the dedicated group and see how it goes. Okay, right. So so far, good job, guys. I think you all did understand a good part as well. With that, we will wrap up the 2 free sessions. If you all are joining the theory class, you all can pay the fee and join. If not, good luck with everything else. The ones who are in the theory class, I will see you all again next Wednesday, same time, 7 to 9 p.m. See you all and have a nice day. See you all.